Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I have another breakup story to share. And if you have a breakup story you want to share, please visit WriteMac. That's right, WRITEMAC.com. Send your story in, and I could give you my take in a video just like this. If you'd like to take it a step further, I do live coaching, which is done on FaceTime or Skype, and we could really unpack things in an hour or a 2 hour session. If you like this video, throw me a like. If you don't like it, that's just fine. If you have some comments to help this individual out, please put them down below. If you have something that resonates with you, please put it down below. Also, if you'd like to subscribe, hit the red button. If you want to be updated every time a live stream drops, which is daily, hit the bell. So let's get into it, as I say. Hey, Mac, how are you? I'm 38 and suffer from anxiety and depression, and he's 46 with PTSD and some other physical illness from serving in the Marines. Okay, so right off the bat, you both have some things that you have to deal with, and probably they don't support each other, if I had to guess. You really need to work with your anxiety and depression and believe that you actually can combat these things and you can get better from it. And remember that you didn't have this forever. You weren't born with it. Find out what the triggers are. The idea that he's got PTSD and some other physical illnesses, is he working on those things? Are those a continued problem? Are those things that don't help your anxiety and depression? And in that case, that might not be a good match for you right now because, like I said, if you guys are both wounded in some ways, you can't help each other. Both of us have been in a bad marriage and relationships, so you got that in common, okay? We were friends for 6 years, and 3 years ago, we became more than friends, and he has been by my side through everything, including abuse from my ex-husband over the years, 9 years together. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to read that. I am sensitive to that. The fact that he's been there for you, I think this is a little bit of a deeper connection based on what you had gone through prior. Our relationship has always been treated like a long-distance relationship for personal reasons. Okay, long distance relationships aren't ideal, and if you were in long distance for 3 years, at some point there's an expiration on it, and some people believe that a lot of people, there's one person, a lot of LDRs or long distance relationships, someone's okay with the situation. Eventually one person goes, I really don't like to be in long distance anymore, and I don't see us moving closer to each other, and they usually find a way out of the relationship, whether that's meeting someone else or saying, I just want to be friends, because the physical contact, intimacy, and actual being in each other's presence is lacking, and one person's okay with it, the other one's not long term. We had a falling out at the end of April, and on May 1st, he wrote me and told me that he wants us to just be friends. It caught me off guard. I wrote him back and said, okay, cut off communication with him. He wrote me a few times, and I ignored him for 3 weeks. I started listening to other coaches. I think what it is, too, if you had this deep connection where you were friends for 6 years, he probably, you were on long distance and you shared so much, he probably feels that your connection's really, really deep, and that regardless if you break up or not, it's a special relationship that he still wants to be there for you, it sounds like, especially if you were in an abusive relationship of 9 years and he has his own issues. You're probably helping him in a lot of ways also. And so he doesn't want to give up that part. But if you're not comfortable with that and that's not negotiable for you, then you have every right to go, no, friends isn't on the table for me. I started listening to other coaches on YouTube saying 21 days, 30 days, 45, 60 days. I talked to him for a weekend, and I told him just friends isn't an option for me, and he asked why, and I gave him my reason. Well, that's good. Be clear and upfront. I didn't see any changes, so I told him I couldn't do it anymore with him. He never responded. I didn't hear anything from him for over a month. Well, you put your cards on the table. You told him where you stood. You were honest. You were upfront. This idea that it's 21 days, 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, any of those goals for no contact are just finish lines, but they don't guarantee anything. So just be aware of that. 30 days is just a nice goal because people need a goal or a finish line, as I say, when they're in no contact. Otherwise, what are you working towards? Because no contact, usually you're like, if I do this, this, and this, then they'll come back. That's just not how breakups work. So the 30 days is just for you to achieve the 30 days. The 45 days is just for you to achieve the 45 days. And then upon achieving that, regroup and see where you're at that point. See if you really want to contact them or what's going on. The end of June, I posted music videos, not realizing that I had to share them off of his page a few years ago, and I notified him, and he liked them, along with 6 of my new pics. I had lost 30 pounds. Well, congratulations. 30 pounds is significant. Bought all new clothes that were different from what I used to wear and changed my hairstyle and started posting more pics of myself because I was happy with my accomplishments and the way I looked. Well, that's outstanding. You didn't post those for him. You posted them for yourself, and you should be proud. And I'm happy that you made some of those changes, and maybe this breakup gave you the push you needed to lose that 30 pounds and get the new hairstyle and feel better about yourself. So maybe in some ways, this breakup served you. Later that night, I decided to message him, and he responded right away, and we started talking. We talked for a little over a month. In the first couple of weeks, I was helping him with some issues he was going through. So here we have something where you guys are still connected, and you opened the story with your guys' issues and your problems in the past, and, you know, this is how you guys connect, it sounds like. He admitted in that month that he still loves me and has feelings for me. After a couple of weeks, my anxiety got the best of me, and I asked him a couple of times if we could work things out between us, and if we couldn't, tell me so I could walk away. We were doing almost everything we used to except for a couple of things. Well, if you guys are going to get back together and revisit this thing, it's probably going to be slowly but surely, and you got to figure out what's impeding the first breakup. Was the distance a problem? What was the problem? Is that problem going to be fixed? But the idea that you're putting pressure, and this happens a lot when people get back together, they start talking again, and then someone goes, hey, if we're not going to be together, then we can't talk anymore. And that's leading with force. And a lot of people don't respond to that when they're adults, and they feel pushed, and they feel like you're trying to control things. And a lot of times they'll say, you know what, forget it. You're better off reworking on the connection, reworking on the trust, reworking on the attraction, and over some time, over a few more dates, going, all right, where are we at now? Finally, at the beginning of August, I started to get really depressed that those couple things weren't happening, and I told him now I was feeling, and he said that he told me that things couldn't go back to how they used to be between us. I told him that he had said that months ago, and that I had made it clear to him over the past few weeks what I wanted, and that if he couldn't, that I was walking away. Okay, this is the second time you've done this. Let's just keep that in mind. I told him if he changes his mind to message me. He wrote me the next morning, and I was still hurt and mad from the day before. I felt like he played me. Well, you're the one that contacted him. Correct me if I'm wrong. He liked some of your videos. I'm not sure he's ever conveyed that he wanted to get back with you outside of being a friend. That's what you wanted, but I'm not seeing, maybe I'm missing something here where he misled you, because you kind of left out. We were doing almost everything we used to except for a couple of things. So I don't know what those couple of things were, and were those couple of things something that would have conveyed that you were actually together? I was there to make him feel better, but as nothing more than a friend. I was really short with him and didn't hear anything from him for the rest of the day. At this point, you know where he stands. He cares about you. He loves you. He has feelings. You have a 9-year relationship, 6 years as friends, 3 years as partners. And at this point, it seems like he would like to go back to being friends that really care deeply for each other. The next morning, I asked him why he messaged me the day before, and he was aware that I told him to message me if he changed his mind, and he lied and said, nope, I'm not stupid. If he changed his mind, he lied and said, nope, I'm not stupid. Messenger tells you when they saw the message, and he reads all my messages. I got mad and gave him an ultimatum. Yes, I know it was wrong, but I needed some sort of peace to take a stand. Well, an ultimatum is you forcing clarity. It just doesn't necessarily result in what you want. But what it will result in is exactly what you just said. You need what you say is peace of mind, and you couldn't wait any longer. And so you needed to force the issue because you felt like that would make you feel better either way. Unfortunately, with ultimatums, it usually, if the person doesn't respond the way you want them to, which usually is the case because you're leading with force and adults don't like that, then you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But the reality is you did it for yourself and for the clarity, and you got the clarity. You just didn't like what you heard. You didn't like the result. Either we work things out or I'm done, and that he has the rest of the day to think about it. Again, this is maybe the third time you've mentioned giving this kind of declaration. But if he's dead set on not working things out and to tell me so, we can end things right now instead of dragging it out for the rest of the day. He never responded, so later that night I unfriended him and haven't contacted him since and haven't heard from him. It's been about 2.5 weeks now. I miss him badly and do want to work things out with him, but not just his friends. So there's been 3 different times over the last 2 months or over this time period where he's repeatedly told you that he does just want to be friends. You keep asking for a different answer, but you keep getting the same answer. You're just not accepting it. And at some point you need to accept it. And I think part of you wants to be friends because you've been such good friends in the past. You still are connected in a lot of ways. You've supported each other through some really rough things. He's not up for it. He's told you that numerous times. And him ignoring you is just telling you you're not listening to me. Do you think he will reach out eventually? It's possible. I think most likely as a friend. And if so, how many weeks minimum should I wait to message him back if I decide to? What's the point of messaging him? To tell him that you don't want to be friends? Because he's already said that's what he wants. So regardless of what you want, what you're hoping for, or what you're trying to push through, I think you're not listening or accepting that if this relationship's going to work presently, right now, it's going to be friends. It's going to be supportive friends. It's going to be a friend that loves and cares about you deeply, it sounds like, a friend that's there for you. But he does not want to re-enter into a serious relationship. And you have to respect that. And if you are non-accepting to that, I would stay in no contact and heal your wounds on your own and really, really think about, you've already revisited this 3 times and got the same answer. And what should I say to him if he does, so that we don't get back in the cycle again, to address the more than friend situation if he tries again? If he does contact you again, I'm telling you right now, I doubt by what you've told me that he's going to say, oh, let's get back together. He's probably going to contact you as a caring friend. And you have to put up a stand or a boundary up that that's not what you want, and not continue on the cycle yourself. You actually have a power in this situation, and that's where it is. So there's nothing sneaky or tricky or strategic about this. It's just you leading with honesty, good intentions, right? And accepting what he's telling you. And if even if you don't want to agree to it, you still need to accept it. Does that make sense? She writes, love your videos and live streams. I'm glad to be a part of them. Well, I appreciate you too also. Thank you for all you do, Mac. It's definitely appreciated. Well, I appreciate you sending your story, and I hope this helps you. Please visit writemac.com if you'd like to send your story in and get my take, or if you'd like to book a live coaching session. Thank you for supporting the channel.